Praise for how you doing?
It's just always funny because so Leah and I obviously do this podcast together, and we have like one setting, and then when I see out of the podcast setting,
It's different.
Like we hang out. It's always funny.
Yeah. It's like it's like a different person. It's like an out of body experience almost. No man.
Well, it's funny because like we know each other like really well. Obviously, it's just through podcasting, through working together.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to see in a different dynamic. I don't know. I always find it interesting.
You know what's funny too when we go out with friends too, because we sit there and I think of things we spoke about on the podcast, or I think about certain situations, and then I just look at you and I feel like sometimes we're on the same wavelength.
Oh, we are.
You know. But yeah, it is. What's today? September 20th, 2020, guys.
Is it 20th?
September 20th. Yeah. Welcome
a few
back.
More months to go.
A few more months. Q4. Are we still in quarantine yet? Are we still in quarantine? Is it still going?
Who decides it to?
The government, right? Actually, I saw the other day that this virologist, Chinese virologist, she tweeted something and her Twitter got blocked.
Oh yeah, she was on television and trying to. This is really weird stuff, man. There's a lot of fact checking. People who are into obviously posting on social media, like obviously social media, Facebook, and all these platforms have like a fact checker now with everything. And like if they don't like what you say, like if that person, they'll be like, this is not approved by the WHO.
Right.
And the problem with that is that the WHO and the CDC, they have changed their guidelines so often and what they recommend that it's like what is now true and not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people say trust scientific community. It's like okay. But the scientific community also keeps changing every like 2 months about what's right and not. When we started off, as they were like, don't wear a mask. I remember the Surgeon General said, guys, don't wear a mask. It's gonna make it worse. Everyone's gonna touch it with their dirty hands. Do not wear a mask. Now it's wearing a mask. Then it was like 2 weeks, and then it's changed. Then it was like stopping people coming in from China is a horrible thing. It's really racist. Don't do that. Now it's like we should have done it earlier. So the recommendations actually from the CDC have changed so often, and the problem is like a lot of news and information actually that could potentially be true. We don't know yet. No one knows if it's maybe she's right. We don't know, and that's being fact checked. But it's like we don't know the facts.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing when CDC, WHO, whatever, and then everybody's just inconsistent with each other. Trump says, president of this country says a vaccine is going to be available in October and November. That's what he says. But then the head guy from the CDC said it's not going to be ready until Q2, Q3 of next year. So even that, like I mean, if I can't trust. For me, I mean, there's no way I can trust that. There's nothing. It's so inconsistent.
Well, that's why, like with social media, we have different people having different opinions, and I know fact checking is important, but I also see random things that have nothing to do with anything. They're getting fact checked and they're getting like blocked from Facebook and all that. Because if you're right, if the main authority isn't giving us consistent advice, then we should get it from somewhere. But there's a whole another cascade. I'm really disappointed with like the mainstream media and how they're just buying and eating up everything, and they're forcing it ramming down our throats. Like actually telling people that you can't talk to each other anymore, you can't hang out with people anymore, you can't go out of your house anymore is a really big thing to ask. So obviously people are gonna question it. And I always say people, oh, you don't wear a mask, you wanna kill people, masks save lives. Okay, but like, number one, there's no real evidence or data to actually show that there's any strong correlation. There actually is, truthfully, there isn't.
Well, I mean, there must be some. I mean, South Korea and all these countries have been doing this.
Yeah, but also I know other countries, like the country where I'm born in, where they don't do it. And do you think that the Dutch government wants to kill people?
Well, I mean, they're saying you should because it's.
But do you think the Dutch government is like inherently worse than the American? Like, do you think Dutch people like that's basically assuming if you don't wear a mask, you want to kill people? Okay. So like, what about in countries where they're like, no, we're cool with it, and so all I'm saying is, sure, do it, whatever. It's fine, but all I'm saying is it's a very big thing to ask from someone. So if you're going to ask something to someone to basically give up their civil liberties, not as an American, as a human being, which is social contact, you also have to have a strong reason and rationality and science and backings and real hard data to prove it. And if people question, of course they're going to question it. Like it's obvious. You're not telling me, okay, Prady, don't shower from 8 to 9 p.m. because of a water shortage. Okay, fine, I won't do it. But if you're telling me, Prady, you cannot go out of your house, you cannot meet your parents, you cannot meet your grandparents, you can't travel. If something happens to your grandparents, you can't go to people's funerals, you can't go anywhere, you can't talk to your friends. If you're 4 or 5 people on the table, you can't sit with each other, you can't go anywhere, full shelter in place. I'm like, okay, but like why? Oh, don't worry, you're killing people.
Well, that's under the assumption that there is a crazy virus out there. That's the only reason.
But even if there is a crazy virus out there, all I'm saying is that you have to give people reasoning why you're doing
because there's
something.
a crazy virus. There's a crazy virus, so don't do these things because you don't want it to spread.
Yes,
the fact that there may or may not. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know all facts yet, but that's just on the assumption of if there was a crazy virus out there killing millions of people.
But it isn't. So
we don't know. I mean, right?
No, but it isn't.
The virus?
No, it isn't. So the point that I'm trying to make, why people actually, you look at the studies now. So in the last few months, the people who actually think COVID-19 is a very like dangerous thing has decreased. People willingness to take a vaccine is like decreased.
100%.
People trust in the
100%.
mainstream media has totally decreased. People trust in the government has decreased for all the things you've mentioned before. And it's because people on a day-to-day stuff, man. If the virus is really killing everyone, and here's the thing. I know I'm in Massachusetts and Boston right now. If you sit on a table, you don't have to wear one. But if I get up, I have to wear a mask. So the assumption is imagine if masks would really, if it's me not wearing a mask gonna kill, dude, everyone on the street would just be falling on the floor. You know, right? Like if it's so deadly that everyone would like, if I'm like breathing in an elevator with someone, I'm gonna die. It's actually like we would literally see bodies on the street. Again, there is a problem and there is a disease and there is a bad flu. And I also agree, but I think where people take an extreme stance, even people that we know that have been on the show, I see them on Facebook exposing extreme stances. Like guys, of course people are gonna question things. We're human beings, man. Like people who are upset when their parents say don't take drugs. They still take drugs. How fucking people question that even when they know they're gonna die from drugs. Of course, people are gonna question when they're like, dude, I don't know anyone that's dying. I don't know anything that's going wrong. Of course, they're gonna question it.
There are just a lot of open-ended questions that I think.
But it's okay to question? And all I'm arguing for, I'm not saying the virus isn't real, whatever. That's not my point.
I don't know either.
I'm saying that we should allow people to question, especially when they're giving up so much of their freedom. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, hey, can I ask more questions about it? And they're like, no. Why actually? I wouldn't know. Spread germs. But like, how?
Yeah, no, I know.
But that's not allowed. And to me, that is the more problem. Like if I go down in his building and if I don't, I was like, and remember the guy was like, we're playing pool. It's like, wear a mask. I'm like, but how is it gonna spread? He's like, germs spread. I was like, but how? And there was no answer for it.
It's just precautions, right? It's precautionary.
No, it's not enough. You need to give a real answer for something. If I take you right now and I put you in a room and I just lock you, I'm like, dude, safety. You're like, dude, what? I can't just do that. Be like, yeah, it's dangerous outside. So we can't do that. And I've always said there's a big thing. Do we want to trade safety for freedom? What is the differences we make? How do we do that? And everyone has a right to question. And right now, because it's politicized in this country, oh, you question the mask, you must be a Trump supporter. I was like, dude, like, no, what is actually going on? I want to know why I can go out.
I see that though. But
only question. I'm not saying that's wrong. Just allow people to question. Because if people can't question anymore, like, what are we, just like drones?
I know, man.
I want people to question. The point of this podcast is so people question.
There you go. Let's do a little bit, just
to make you feel better.
Just for sake. No, I know what you mean.
Just question. That's all.
100%. No, that's why I have so many questions still.
But is that wrong? Is it wrong for you to question?
Wrong.
What if someone said, "Oh, don't even question, man"? It's like, okay. I question everything. When I pay my taxes at the end of the year, I go. Sometimes I've called the IRS. Like, where is this going?
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, taxes, but where?
But what if the higher up, the main leader of who the all-knowing person doesn't have an answer for you? Then that's a problem. Doesn't that decrease your trust in the government itself?
Yeah, but that's why I believe, and my principle has always been, I don't trust the government, and that's why I vote the way I do, because I don't want big government. I want to make my own policies, and I don't want the federal government nor random people that I don't know who they are. I don't want them to create policy for me. And that's why I've always voted that way. And I'm very consistent in that since I'm like very young. I've always voted the same way. I vote for policies that take control away from the federal government and keep it on local governments. That's my way of how I see things, because I agree with you.
That's smart.
I like that. I like small governments. Like I want someone from Hanover to decide. I live in Hanover, or I live in Boston, or I live in, I don't know, wherever, Braintree, whatever city in Massachusetts you live. I want that person, or like my parents or my family, to decide what's right for me. I don't necessarily think some dude in Washington that I don't relate with should decide, and I totally agree with you on that. I see eye to eye.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. So
small government is better for me, because I don't really, growing up in Europe too is like, we know what like a strong federal government that takes all power, what it can do. When we all know family that, you know, if you live in Europe, we know what that can do. So I have never liked those kind of policies.
All I'm saying is that I don't, it's just weird how we're still here 8 months later, and it's just, there are so many questions that we had at the beginning of this whole thing in
but
March,
they're still not answered.
And they're still not answered, so that's why it's hard for me. And when there are people within office saying, you know what, I was on the Trump team, and I'm telling you guys, don't vote for him. if there's already conflict happening inside, how it just takes trust away from I mean, I can't trust that.
Yeah, but you should. But the point is, and that's my point that I'm making. And it's not really a Trump or not issue. The question is just it's not really about that. It's like everyone collectively failing us. And right now, that's the thing, is because there's no answer, and there's not from everyone, including whether it's the president, whether it's the mainstream, everyone that's feeding us advice. And when we question them, then the wrath of like, why? I mean, I don't know. There was a huge video trending 2 days ago where a woman on American Airlines, she had a 2-year-old. Woman and the 2-year-old are wearing a mask. Now the 2-year-old gets the snacks and he refuses to put the mask on. They take the woman and throw her out of the plane because her 2-year-old wouldn't wear a mask. Okay, like that's a lot to ask from a parent, and it's like we should all collectively asking why. And what I don't agree with these people who are like, wear a fucking mask, wear a fucking mask. They have no, they're like, they could yell at people. I see it on the street. I say, wear a mask. It's like, dude, what are you talking about?
I see. I mean, I know, but that's granted. There is a deadly virus, and then it's like, okay, well, if there is a deadly virus, why aren't you?
All I'm saying is we have this concept. You know, when this is just an emergency. This is just for our safety. When this is over, the government will give us all our power back. I'm sorry, guys. Like, look at history. It's never ever happened. The government has always used an emergency. Like, we're in a bad state, guys. Like, I'm gonna take some power away from you, and when it's all over, you can get it back. Okay, guys? Dude, you guys, it's never happened. So I'm worried about it because I'm like, is the government really going to give us back all of our powers? I don't know. After, like, for example, we had biggest issues, like safety issues, for instance, after 9/11, the Patriot Act came into place. The government started openly spying on Americans. That never went away. Like, have we ever gotten that power back? Well, guys, it's an emergency situation, and I agree. I agree. Like, terrorism is really, like, it's one of the worst manifestations of like human crimes. And then, okay, all right, guys, terrorism. Now we got to check everyone. Now we got to spy on your phone and your phone calls. I mean, this is happening openly, right?
Sure. We
We all know the government spies on us. Like, we all know. Yeah. But we're okay with it now. But, like, did we ever get that power back? Did we ever get our freedom back? Absolutely not.
How detrimental is it, though? I mean,
I don't know. So that's a question that you have to answer. So I don't know. It's up to you. Like, some people don't mind, some people mind. I personally, I don't want that. I don't want Alexa spying on. I don't like that kind of
thing. But they're tracking your phone every single second.
I don't know what they're doing. I mean, someone in the government will know. But I'm saying is that we don't have any freedom. I have seen in front of me, and I can give you guys an example. I will not say where or what, but I know people who go into your home camera, your Nest, whatever it is, the Amazon
Alexa?
camera. No, yeah, but they can watch your cameras in a home. It's very easy to get through that. Like, so there's a lot of security things that are obviously openly happening, and so that's fine. Okay, if you're cool with it, I don't have no. It's fine, but like, I think at least we should have an option to say yes or no, and that's what I'm saying.
No, I know.
I'm really big on privacy. I think it's a human right, and so like we have the right to be like, hey, like I'm not cool with this. That's all.
No, same here.
Just give me a form to sign, and if I agree to it, I'll do. But if I don't agree to it, then I don't.
I know. You're very contractual, very agreement.
Yeah, because I believe.
No, I know. I agree with this. I agree with this. I'm just joking, but just all I'm saying is it's just weird. It's just like, what a time to. I can't trust what I don't see, you know, and that's what it feels like.
And that's how Americans are seeing. What are you seeing when you go outside? Like, I'm not seeing it manifested. If it was such a big issue, like we would literally see everyone dying left and right. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Look, the deaths are bad. I'm never saying that, and I'm saying I look at the CDC statistics. CDC on their website. If there's someone you trust, and a lot of people will say, I don't trust Trump, I trust the CDC. Okay, let's trust the CDC. Screw the top federal government. Okay, so the CDC is updating statistics, and the news doesn't report on it. So the CDC website, they updated, and I look at it, and they said, okay, guys, sorry, it's not actually 100,000. It's 6,000 to 8,000 people have actually died directly from COVID. Everything else was people who had other underlying very severe diseases before. Okay, so now it gives it a little more perspective. So in a lot of states, for example, this is real news, right? So in one of the states actually in the country, what they realized is that over there, they wanted to keep the bars shut and closed. And so they had tens of thousands of cases that they reported weren't there. And it was leaked in an email. They were like, okay, well, we won't tell anyone because like this, we're gonna keep the bars and stuff closed. Look at the amount of news there is from fake reporting where like the cases weren't there. I've told my own story. I'm one, but it's one too many. So stuff is also like not a lot of the cases are just not there. They're over-reported, and I think the American people have a right to question that. But if you question it now on social media, people get upset at you. We should always have the right and the freedom to question the federal government. We should have the right to question Trump. We should have the right. No, we don't.
Why not?
We don't have the right to
We
wear.
are though.
But I'm not. No, we're not. Because like, if I question why to wear a mask, like, dude, there's just policy. But why? I want to know. Give me exactly why a contract. Why I should stop my freedom. I don't want to know why. And no one has come with a real answer. Which pandemic? Show me the numbers. Show me what. I don't see it. And I want to make a decision whether I want to give up my freedom or not. I'm a very big believer. For my, I think come and take it. Like, it's my freedom. And this is why I don't agree with the European concept. My concept is that no one owes me anything. Zero. You don't owe me shit. I don't owe anyone anything. If I do something for someone, it's because I'm kind or whatever. I don't owe anyone anything. Zero. Mm-hmm. Zero. Mm-hmm. I don't owe anyone my taxes. You can't tax in the wealthy for what? You don't owe my. It's not property tax. This tax. Like, it's not your money, man. It's my money. I earned that. If I want to give it to you as charity, I will. But you can't take my taxes. You can't take my freedom. You have to give me a reason why. And there's no reason. It's arbitrary. Why in this building? Oh, why?
I mean, again, it all goes back to they just want to take precautions just in case there is a crazy virus. I mean, that's.
But we're 6 months in, and all of us have come to the agreement that the cases are now the cases are spiking. But like, is anyone dying? No, just tested positive. Oh, no symptoms, no symptoms. All these people who have no symptoms.
Asymptomatic.
Yeah. Okay, but then like.
Yeah.
Like, how many people have herpes in this country? They're all asymptomatic too, right? Like.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
You're asymptomatic. True. So many people have so much shit in their body that's asymptomatic, dude. I don't know.
It is weird that I mean, I have not gone.
Tomorrow, if you have the propensity to get diabetes, you're pre-diabetes. A lot of people have that, right? You're
pre. Yeah.
So now, if you go to the restaurant, say, dude, you're not getting fucking sugar. You can't eat any sugar. Like, you're not allowed to go to McDonald's. You're not allowed to get a milkshake. Everyone just stopped you. It's like, dude. And they're like, well, sorry, but if you get diabetes, it's gonna cost health, and we might not be able to have. We don't have enough beds for you, bro. So sorry, no sugar for you. What if every restaurant would just stop giving you sugar? That's what we're getting to, right? We're gonna be able to predict what diseases people are gonna get because of all these testing, and then they're gonna stop you from having stuff in your life. I don't want that. My entire family has diabetes, but like, if I want a fucking ice cream, I'm fucking taking an ice cream.
I think, so what was I gonna say? What was it? No.
But you know how this this could go really far.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It could go really far. It could.
Yeah, but I don't like that. All I'm saying is, guys, please give me a reason why I need to do something. I'm not a very big on rules, and I was a kid. I always question things, and I think that's why I'm here. I'm sitting here, and because I always question things. I never just take things how they are. That's why I'm good at business too, because I'm like, why, what? I ask questions. I'm like, what, where, and I push all the time, so I want to know. But hopefully this explains people people questioning like, Paul, why you did this? Why is politics? Like, I don't want a big federal government. I don't want that. I want to be able to decide for myself.
It's just weird also that people are getting fake letters like fake COVID, fake positive.
Yeah, many. And this is not a conspiracy theory. I will be happily show and screenshot.
It's weird though. So. I actually had I had a move scheduled for yesterday morning. And the woman calls me like, oh, you know what? I wanted to call you to let you know that I got a letter that I have COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I'm not coming over for sure. Yeah. And I was like, how do you feel though? Like, just tell me, like, let me. She's like, I feel fine. I don't know. They said I have it for 3 days or some shit like this. And I was like, okay, well. So I want to follow up with her, be like, how do you feel? Because it also may be a fake letter. I don't know.
Yeah, but if she's asymptomatic.
I mean, yeah. It's weird. I know. But again,
do you know that so there's a risk, right, that she might hurt people who could get it, and I get it, right? She might be a carrier. Now you might get it. You might really get choke on it. So the problem with that is do you know how many situations like that already exist in our life? We release criminals in our society that are just gone to prison, and then they serve their time, and then they're out. Like, this dude go on your sex offender registry. There's sex offenders on the street. There's hundreds of them. But they're already released now. So what if there's kids around here, man? But so you know what I'm saying? So we take risk all the time. And the problem is how far are we gonna take this? Look, I get it. When in the beginning stages of COVID, when we didn't have any beds, I was like, I do my part. I was also not going out. I was like, dude, let's just forget it. We will meet on Zoom. And I was like the same thing. Okay, my mom, okay, fine. But at some point, man, I'm like, okay, 6 months, 7 months, how long are we gonna keep up this for? And I feel like